Hi, my name is Rachel, and we're going to be talking about the Heartbeat Protection Act. So, what is the Heartbeat Protection Act? So, this is a bill that was signed by Ron DeSantis in April of 2023. As of right now, it is one of the most restrictive abortion bans in the US today. Florida, along with, I believe, 12 other states, have started to put in heartbeat protection acts, heartbeat protection bills, some variation of it. But what it basically is, it's a 6 week abortion ban. So people can only receive abortions up to 6 weeks, which is very difficult. It's problematic because most women, as seen by research, find that they are pregnant. They find out between weeks 4 and 7. There are some instances where it's allowed up to 15 weeks. These are the instances of rape, incest, and human trafficking. That's only if it's reported by police, though. And even with all of that, they can still say no. Anyone can say no to an abortion, any practitioner. The other thing is, putting a police report in does increase the likelihood that these women are at higher risk of danger now. There's decreased access to abortion pills, and there's legal action against practitioners who perform procedures outside these parameters. So there's a lot of reasons why this is a problem, but the four main ones in my eyes. So the first is human rights. This violates the human right to bodily autonomy and the right to proper healthcare access. Um, According to the Health and Human Rights Journal, governments have a duty under international human rights law to protect and fulfill health rights, and that includes maternal and prenatal services. It's also a First Amendment violation. The organization that actually drafted and advocates most for this bill is called Faith to Action. They're a Christian group based out of Ohio. They've worked really hard to make sure that this bill gets passed around. They've been doing it since 2011, but just until recently, they've started to see some success for them. So this is also an ineffective policy. Historically, restricting abortion access has not affected their prevalence. Um, the only thing that has, like, by research, affect the prevalence of abortion has been increased to contraception. And there was a study done in 2017 that actually compared two countries, one country that had very restrictive abortion bans and one that had, basically no bans on abortion. And they saw that both had a 3% prevalence of abortion rates. The only difference was the one that had severe bans on abortion saw much higher maternal death rates and hospitalizations from unsafe abortions occurring. And that leads to the fourth reason, which is that it's a public health issue. Restrictions lead to a rise in unsafe, unregulated procedures, and it puts the lives of women at risk. So, who does this affect? It affects women, family, and social programs. So, parents, primary caregivers, family members, assumed fathers, and already underfunded social welfare programs like DCF, adoption agencies, foster care program, women's shelters, and domestic violence shelters, because they see from research that restricting abortion increases the chances that the woman is going to be domestically abused. It also affects vulnerable populations. Policies like these disproportionately affect vulnerable populations that already face healthcare disparities. This includes people that live in rural areas, people of color, people with disabilities, people in indigenous communities. It affects so many people, on top of the fact that women are already considered a vulnerable population. The third is the economy and the environment. Overpopulation has adverse effects on public health. We saw it with COVID-19, climate change, pollution, and economic equality. Um, so, if any of these things, if you belong to any of these, if belong to the environment, if you live in this world, I believe that this policy affects you. It does not just affect women or people with uteruses. Okay, so what can we do? So, the number one thing I think we can do is vote. That's November 7th. Voting for legislators and policies that aim to protect women's health and not hurt women's health is big. So, signing this petition, there's a petition that's going around from an organization called Floridians Protecting Freedoms. It's the petition for the amendment to limit government interference with abortion and to get abortion on the 2024 election ballot. So, basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to put abortion, like, laws that protect it onto the ballot and have people decide. They've seen that even in the most red states, like more than half of the people think that abortion should be legal. So they are trying to get it on the ballot so that we can decide on that. And on the next page, I will provide the link for that petition. The other thing you can do is you can let your local legislators and representatives know about the harms of this policy and to spread awareness. Advocation is stronger with numbers, so let people know what's going on. So here's my recommendations for implementation. Here's where you get to sign the petition. I recommend doing this because I think that if we left it up to the people to decide instead of legislators, I think we'd see a much different outcome. This is how you find your elected officials. And I recommend talking to them because they are in a position where they should be listening to us, and we should let them know that we're watching what's happening. These are some organizations that are taking action. Planned Parenthood, Floridians Protecting Freedoms, as I mentioned, they're the ones that are kind of behind the citizen-led ballot, and Equality Florida. They've been doing a lot of canvassing in the communities and been doing a lot of work to advocate for women's rights. All right, here are some of my resources. And thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, you can email me or text me. I love to talk about this stuff. And thank you all. I hope you have a great day.